Hi, welcome to Art on the Brain. I'm Kelly Drake, and today I want to talk about a very special kind of luminescent watercolor paint called interference paints. I have some here from Daniel Smith, and they come in a variety of colors, and they'll really add a lot of sparkle and luminescence to your paintings if you want to use them for florals or for something that's naturally iridescent, like say a butterfly wing, or if you want to add some reflection to water. You can think of all sorts of really fun ways to use these paints. One thing I've seen on YouTube a lot is how to use interference paints in acrylic. And these are a little different. Usually in acrylics, they'll show you how they look over black and over white. But as you know, in watercolors, we really don't use black. So today I'm going to show you how to use these over other colors on your palette so that you can incorporate them into your paintings. So these are the interference colors I'm going to use today. I have blue, lilac, red, green, and silver. But first I'm going to lay down some base colors so that I have something to put the interference color over and see how they react. Starting with an indanthrone blue, a blue violet, a quinacridone violet, anthracenoid red, a quinacridone burnt orange, and a quinacridone gold, an olive green, and a cerulean blue. Since to me interference colors work best as a transparent layer over other colors, I'm going to let those colors dry, and then I'm going to put a layer over them. First I'm going to show you how these colors look over white, or just on the white of the paper. Now the consistency of these colors is a little different from regular watercolor paint. They're a little bit elastic, is how I would explain it. You would definitely need some water mixed in, but maybe not quite as much as you would use with your watercolor paint. It takes a little bit of testing to get the right consistency. And as you can see on the white of the paper, you don't see the color come out very much. You see some of the iridescence, but that's about it. So this first interference color that I'm using is blue. You see, you can't really see the color very well in the cup, but you'll really notice it when it goes on top of this indanthrone blue paint. Because it's pearlescent, you see the shimmer in the light, and you see a little bit of the blue color. But it changes the dark blue, makes it lighter, as you can see. But it really doesn't have that milky look like it kind of does in this video. You'll see when it dries. Now I'm using some of the interference lilac, and I'm going to put it over the quinacridone violet. I think the interference paints, I like when you use a color that's somewhat similar to the base color. I think it really brings it alive. And if you only change the color slightly, I think it looks best. So the lilac also looks nice over the anthracenoid red. They're both warm colors. So now next I'm going to use the interference red. And again, you see it doesn't really look like red in the cup. But when you do put it over something, you can see a little bit of that red shining through. So I'm putting it over the quinacridone burnt orange. And I'm just going to show you on these next few how if you vary your stroke, that also makes a difference in how the light hits it and how you see that pearlescence. And you'll really notice later when I tilt the paper and you see the light change, how that makes a difference. So in your paintings later, you might wish to vary your strokes just to have that little bit of extra variety. Now I'm using some of the interference green over the olive green, and you can see how it's starting to luminesce. And I'm going to use a little bit more of that interference green over the cerulean blue as well. Since they're both cool colors, I think that'll look nice. Yeah. can tell it doesn't really turn the cerulean blue green, but it makes it just a little bit more green than it was originally. Like cerulean blue tends toward a little bit more of a yellow blue, especially more than the indanthrone. So you can see that shimmer in the light, and that's what the interference paint really does well. Notice the difference when you have different strokes, whether they're horizontal or vertical. I really like how that looks with the lilac over the quinacridone violet. Okay, so now we're going to mix it up and use different colors over the base colors than we did before. So I think I'll start out with the interference silver and show you that. That's a little bit different from the rest of the colors because it really doesn't have a color of its own. It's a little more opaque than the other colors, so it will change the color beneath more than the other ones will. But whatever color you put beneath will show through. So if you want to do something a painting of, say, a silver vase or a silver cup, you could use those colors underneath, put the silver over, and you could have a very beautiful combination there where you have the colors underlying, really giving you some realism and some variety. Let's put a little silver over the blue violet as well. And next I'm taking the interference red, because I hadn't put that over the violet and the anthraquinone red yet. So I'm going to try that red over the top and see how it differs from the lilac. It's definitely not as, I guess, neon. It's a little more natural. So it just kind of depends what effect you want to get there. Now over the burnt orange, I'm going to try some of that lilac. And wow. I think that's actually really cool. It changes it somewhat. You still get that orange shining through, but the lilac over the top just glows. It's pretty amazing. Now I'm going to try some of the interference green over the quinacridone gold to see what that does. As you see, it just changes it slightly green. It's definitely cooler than the color below where it has the interference red over the top, but very shimmery and very beautiful. So there I just put some of the blue, interference blue over the olive green. And now a little bit of that lilac over the cerulean blue. So you can see the different colors really do change things, even though you can't see a lot of that color over white. When you put them over these colors, it really matters which one you choose to go over the base. And you could get different effects that way. All of them are actually very beautiful, and they all shimmer about the same amount. And you could see when you hold it up in different lights that it shines more or less depending on whether it's right in the light or not. That silver really shines a lot. It's almost a metallic paint, but the metallics, if you buy a metallic paint, it's actually more opaque than this is. So thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll give this a try at home and let me know how it went. Give me a comment in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button so that you can see more of my art tips and tricks. And if you're interested in me, my art, or my children's books, please take a look at my webpage or my Facebook page.